Well, many of us are worried about saving money when inflation is so high. Allison Gormly joins us with some very special guests to tell us what's the deal with building wealth.
All right, well, thanks, Karen. That's right. We are joined by Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruze, who are, I think it's safe to say, financial experts, right? You know a thing or two?
It's a rumor.
Yeah, it's a rumor. With Ramsey Solutions, and tonight you have a sold-out event, Building Wealth.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're so excited about it. We've been traveling around doing this event here for about, I guess, the last year. And it's just a topic that so many Americans are still asking about. They're like, can I still build wealth in the middle of all this inflation, all this uncertainty? And so being able to give them a direction and hope that they can still win with their money. So yeah, we're glad to be here in Indianapolis to do that.
Absolutely.
But because it is sold out, we're going to bring them to you at home. So let's start out with 4 in 10 people report having $0 in savings according to a Ramsey Solutions survey. Where do they start to get out of that?
You know, saving money or handling your money is an act of intentionality. You got to just do it on purpose. What happens with most people is we earn money and we spend it, and then we look up and go, where'd it go? Instead of happening to your money. And so this idea of being intentional, no one wins at anything accidentally. You don't accidentally save money. Same thing. And so you've got to say, we're going to aim at this. We're going to do the dreaded B word, the budget. We're going to make every dollar behave every month and agree on it with our spouse. And then we've got a game plan that causes savings to appear.
And with the budget, you have a budget app called Every Dollar. So you can fill it out for the people at home who don't know what it looks like. You just plug in the different amounts and say, hey, I got $200 for electric this month. But how can people best figure out how much money to put in what section?
Yeah, so I always tell people, if you're first budgeting, go back for the past 3 months and look at your bank account and just kind of average out, okay, on average, here's what we spent on groceries. On average, here's what we spent eating out, which will make you sick. This is what our cable is on average. And remember, those numbers are before you budgeted, so you can probably decrease some of those that aren't fixed expenses because you're actually being intentional with your money. So I'd say start out there, but always know it takes about 3 months for the budget to work.
So what happens if you're on board but a spouse is a spender? What is the best way to navigate that situation?
You know, what we've got to do is realize that money problems are not really the problem. They're the symptom. And one of the biggest things they're the symptom of is marriage issues. And so what we end up seeing is that when people start budgeting together, setting goals together, dreaming together, even facing their fears together, it becomes this like marriage counseling session to do a budget. It's the weirdest thing. And so really what happens if the spouse on board, that means we don't have a dream for the future that we're both in agreement on, because otherwise we're not going to sacrifice to get to the same place.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us. We have Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruze. Tonight they will be at the sold-out Indianapolis Building Wealth event, but if you couldn't make it, we're glad you joined us.
Thank you for having us.